It's finally fall here again in Southeast Massachusetts. Well, it's fall here once again in Southeast Massachusetts. And you know what that means. It's time for another 80 Makepeace Cranberry Harvest Celebration. And that's exactly where we are. We're at the 15th annual, and we're here celebrating good times and cranberries. Lots and lots of cranberries.
The fruit is not ripening quite as early as it used to, and as a result, the growers are pushing their harvest off later in the year.
Either too much water, too little water, coming at wrong times.
Growers are saying, what can I do to stay afloat?
So this is the last year we're doing the festival. We harvest from the middle of September all the way to the middle of November, but the later you go into the season, the vine starts going into a dormancy, and the later you harvest, you start doing more damage to the bog. So to put this all on, it's we're trying to get away from it for the betterment of the bog.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Me too. Right.
Typically, harvest began in early or mid-September, and now harvest is starting later. So that's being driven by the change of the climate, temperatures, so the fruit is not ripening quite as early as it used to, and as a result, the growers are pushing their harvest off later in the year. So this particular weekend, Columbus Day weekend, used to be a period when many of the growers shut down their operations. That shift has changed now, and now this is peak harvest season. So as a result, in the 80 Makepeace Company in particular, their harvest gets thrown off schedule.
Oh boy.
One of the nuances with the cranberry industry and why climate change is so important for us is the fact that cranberries are a perennial crop.
That's Hillary Sandler from the Umass Cranberry Station. Perennial crops are crops that don't need to be replanted each year.
So it's not as easy to change what we have in the ground as it might be for a tomato grower or a potato grower, where they could put in a new crop each year. So your return on investment is quite long term. It makes us more constrained and less able to adapt. So one of the first things that I have to inform people about when they want to learn about cranberries is that we don't grow them in water. They are actually grown on dry land, but we use water a lot. We use water for frost protection, we use water for winter protection, and we flood for harvesting.
So would these berries technically be edible right now? Can I try one?
You certainly can. I mean, that's just a random selection of the early blacks compared to these guys.
Oh wow, they're pretty lemon.
Yeah, they're pretty tart. And not me, I gotta have mine processed.
Oh, yeah. That one.
Yeah. So some of the changes in the weather patterns that are coming quickly to our attention are rainfall in shorter time periods. Either too much water, too little water, coming at wrong times. So we'll be going longer times without rainfall, which is actually what's happening this year. And then also cranberries, like other perennial fruit, need a chilling period. If we have warmer winters, this chilling requirement may not be met. And we know that this is a way that a plant resets its clock. It knows, okay, I've had a certain amount of cold. Now when the days get longer and the temperatures are warmer, I know that it's safe to start putting out new growth.
On the berries, our scale, we hadn't seen the population this bad until just the last year or two.
What scares you the most as far as
It's the extremes. It's when you get the warm springs. In April, you get 380-degree days. It totally screws you for the whole season. And then if you get the 4 inches or 8 inches of rain in the middle of your growing season when your flowers are there or your berries, and it floods the place and they go belly up, you're going to lose the crop. So you don't lose your paycheck for this week. You lose your paycheck for the entire year. So we're trying to grow cranberries, and it's getting harder, and climate change is not helping us.
Cranberry growers are an amazing group of people. I mean, they just have the love of farming right in their hearts.
At the Umass Cranberry Station, researchers like Hillary and Marty are working with farmers to help them get through these climate struggles. The Cranberry Station isn't driven by production, so they can afford to take more risks while advancing knowledge in cranberry-related sciences.
Because it's better for us to go and do something that might be potentially harmful on our bog.
Yeah.
And then so growers don't have to do it on their bog.
Yep, do a little isolated test.
Yeah,
and
I mean, that's what we're all about, is having that really close interface and really trying to work with our growers to help them stay in business.
Really good.
Never been much of a cranberry guy, but
I think I will be now.
pretty tasty.